Hi folks, welcome back to Metabox Tutorials. In this video, we'll create a flash sale product page with advanced filtering using Metabox. If you followed our previous tutorials, you've probably seen many different ways to filter posts, by custom fields, taxonomy, or relationship fields. But those are usually separate cases. In this tutorial, we'll work on a different, more practical scenario by combining multiple filters on a single flash sale page. On this page, products are displayed in a grid layout, showing both the original price and the sale price, along with a clear discount percentage badge. Each product also includes a real-time countdown, so users know exactly when the deal will end. Users can filter products by discount range using a slider, sort them by discount or sale price, and reset all filters easily. Everything updates instantly on the front end without reloading the page. Let's dive in. Before getting started, let's take a quick look at the structure of this page. We'll create a custom post type called product, and each post inside this post type will represent a single product you see here. This makes it easier to manage and display all products later on the front end. The image is the featured image of the post. All the product information, such as the original price and all sale-related data, are stored in custom fields. So I recommend using Metabox All-in-One, which includes the framework and all extensions to have advanced features. First, MB admin columns allows us to display important information like original price directly in the admin dashboard, so we can manage products more easily. Next, MB custom post type is used to create the product post type. MB views is for creating a template and handling the filter logic for the flash sale page. MB Builder helps us create custom field groups to store product information, including the original price and all sale-related fields. In addition, MB Conditional Logic helps control how fields appear. For example, the end time field will only be displayed when a specific sale type is selected, making the interface cleaner and easier to use. Finally, we'll also use MB Group to organize sale information into a structured, repeatable group. For this tutorial, I've already prepared a custom post type to store all product. Each product is saved as a post in this post type, as you can see here. For the custom fields, I've created two separate field groups in advance. The first one is product detail. In real-world projects, you might already have a field group to store product information like description, specifications, gallery, or colors. But in this tutorial, to keep things simple, I only use one field, which is the price. I also enable the option to show this field in the admin columns, so we can quickly see the price of each product right in the dashboard. This option is available when the MB admin columns extension is activated. Don't forget to set the location for this field group as a created post type. Now, open any post inside the product post type. You'll see this field right here, where we can enter the product price. Fill in the data. We have all products as all posts like this, with a column showing the original price. Next, we move on to the second field group, which is sale information. Typically, we separate sale or promotion data from the main product information due to its frequent changes and potentially complex logic. Here, I've already prepared the fields for the sale information. Before going into each field, we first create a group field to organize all the sale information. The first subfield is Product. This field allows you to select which product this sale entry is applied to. It helps link the sale data to a specific product. Next, we have Sale Percent. This is where you enter the discount percentage for the product. This value will later be used to calculate the sale price and also for filtering and sorting on the front end. The next field is Sale End Type. This field defines how the sale will end. Here, I've added several options. Based on this selection, the next field, End Time, will behave differently. The End Time field is only displayed when you select the custom End Time option. This is controlled using MB conditional logic, where the condition is set to show this field only when the sale end type equals custom. This helps keep the interface clean and only shows additional inputs when needed. Finally, we have the Sale Persistent field. This field controls what happens after the sale ends. If it is turned off, the product will be hidden once the sale expires. Otherwise, it will remain visible. We make this group clonable, which means you can add multiple sale entries, and each entry represents a product on sale. Once done, move to the Settings tab and set the location to the Products on Sale page. So this field group will only appear on that specific page where we manage all flash sale items. Now, you'll see all the fields we've just created displayed under the page. You can now add as many sale products as you want. Before creating any filters, we first need to make sure that our products on sale are displayed correctly on the front end. Go to MetaBox, Views, and create a new template for the Product on Sale page. With MB Views, you can add some lines of code directly in the Template tab, or insert fields from the right sidebar through this button to retrieve all the sale entries from the sale information group. Since this group is clonable, each entry represents a product on sale, so we'll loop through each item in this group. Inside the loop, we start displaying the data. First, insert this field to get the product ID by choosing Post ID as the input data. The ID helps identify the exact product so we can retrieve its title and thumbnail correctly. Next, insert it again to display the product name. So, choose the input data as the post title. Since this field also includes the product's thumbnail, we'll insert it one more time and select the corresponding thumbnail as the data source. Then, we continue inserting the remaining fields one by one. These fields are important, as we'll use them later for filtering and sorting. After inserting all the fields, move to the Settings section and set the location for this template. Set the type to singular and choose the Products on Sale page you created earlier. On the front end, you'll now see all the sale products displayed. At this stage, it may look like a basic list without styling. To improve the layout, you can add some div tags and classes in the Template tab. Next, we'll add a bit of custom code to handle the product data. This line retrieves the first selected product and prevents errors if none is selected. This one retrieves the original price of the product from the custom field. Modify the code. We use this to calculate the sale price based on the original price and discount percentage. Then switch to the CSS tab to style the product grid layout. Now, as you can see, all the sale products are displayed in a clean grid. Each item shows the product image along with both the original price and the discounted price, making it easy for users to quickly spot the deals. Let's move on to creating filters and sorting for the flash sale page. Back to the template created with MB Views, we'll now add more code to enable filtering on the front end. First, we load the jQuery library from a CDN to handle interactions and filtering logic more easily. Here, we create a filter for the sale percentage. It includes a label and a range input that allows users to select a discount value from 0. We also create 3 buttons, one to sort products by sale percentage in descending order, one to sort by sale price in ascending order, and one to reset all filters and return everything to the default state. Then, we initialize a variable to store the sale end timestamp starting from 0. The end time changes depending on the selected sale type, with predefined times for hot, afternoon, and regular, while the custom option uses the user's input. This line handles the persistent option. Products remain visible if it's on and are hidden after the sale ends if it's off. We store all necessary data directly on each product element using data attributes, including the sale percentage, sale price, sale end time, and the persistent setting. These values will be used later in JavaScript. This part is to display the countdown timer. It shows the remaining time until the sale ends, and it will be updated dynamically using JavaScript. Move to CSS tab, add some lines of code to style the filter. Now comes the important part, switching to JavaScript tab to make everything work. We'll add scripts to handle filtering, sorting, and updating the countdown dynamically. We start by initializing jQuery and selecting the product grid element. If the grid is not found on the page, we stop the script to avoid errors. Next, we get all the product cards inside the grid and save their initial order for resetting later. After that, select the range input used to filter by sale percentage. We select the buttons for sorting by sale percentage, sorting by price, and resetting the filters. This function updates the countdown timer for all products in real time. It retrieves the current time to compare with the sale end time. Next, we loop through each product and retrieve the necessary data, including the sale end time, the persistent setting, and the countdown elements. If there is no sale end time, the product is skipped. If the sale has ended and the product is not persistent, we hide it. Otherwise, it is visible. Then, we calculate the remaining time in days, hours, minutes, and seconds. Next, we format the remaining time into a readable string and display it in the countdown. The next function filters products based on the selected sale percentage. It gets the value from the slider, updates the display, and shows or hides products depending on whether their discount meets the selected value. This one is to sort products by sale percentage in descending order. And this sorts products by sale price in ascending order, from lowest to highest. We call the countdown function and update it every second to keep it running in real time. Finally, we bind events to the slider and buttons so that when users interact with them, the corresponding filter, sort, or reset function is triggered instantly. That's all for the code. I've uploaded it to GitHub for your reference. Move to the front end to see the result. Now everything works as expected. The countdown updates in real time, and users can filter products by discount, sort them by sale percentage or price, and reset all filters easily. All changes happen instantly without reloading the page, helping users quickly find the best deals. That's the end of today's tutorial. If you want to learn more about how to play around with MetaBox and taxonomies, please watch other tutorials on this channel. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to us for more tutorials. Bye!